Welcome to Eggs and Issues, a monthly business program presented by the Portland Community Chamber, with presenting sponsors Bank of America, Martins Point Healthcare, and WEX. In cooperation with IDEX Laboratories, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, and Oxford Networks. And television sponsor WMTW News 8, with production support by Headlight Audiovisual. And now, please welcome the Portland Community Chamber President, Bill Becker of Key Private Bank.
Well, good morning and welcome to Eggs and Issues. This is Portland Community Chamber's monthly business forum where we gather to discuss business issues of the day. It's been a long winter. Happy spring. Glad to see you all here. I am Bill Becker, Vice President at Key Private Bank. I'm the volunteer president of the Portland Community Chamber of Commerce. Our special guest today is Lisa DeSisto, CEO and publisher of MaineToday Media, Inc. Today, Lisa will discuss the strategy for Maine's largest media company, including the launch of a new Sunday section. She will also share her views on the future of MaineToday Media's digital products and business models, as well as its commitment and investment in quality journalism and vitality to the people of Maine. Next, I'd like to offer a few words about our sponsors. Our program is made possible through the generous support of our sponsors, all of them leaders in the greater Portland business community. Please hold your applause until I have mentioned all of them. Our presenting sponsors are Bank of America, Martins Point Healthcare, and WEX. Cooperating sponsors, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, IDEX, and Oxford Networks. Reception sponsors, Clark Insurance and Key Bank. Overall production support of Eggs and Issues is provided by Headlight Audiovisual, and our program is broadcast by our friends at Time Warner's Cable on-demand channels 1, 950, or 1040. Sit back, grab a bag of popcorn, and just pull us up on demand. Our print sponsor is The Forecaster. Our e-media sponsor is Maine Biz. Our radio sponsor is WGAN, who interview our speakers and broadcast live right here every month. Broadcast partner is WMTW TV. We also thank our special community partners, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Northeast Delta Dental, and the Portland Press Herald, Maine Sunday Telegram, pressherald.com. Please join me in thanking all of our sponsors for their generous support of Eggs and Issues. Our Tomorrow's Leaders program allows high school students to attend Eggs and Issues during the academic year. We'd like to thank our sponsors, AAA Northern New England and Springborn Staffing, for their support of this program. We would like to welcome many students to our event this morning. With us, we have students from Westbrook, Portland, Cheverus, and Cape Elizabeth High Schools. Students, please stand and be recognized. We also want to thank Springborn Staffing and AAA Northern New England for their support of our program, Tomorrow's Entrepreneurs. This program allows students from Southern Maine Community College's Entrepreneur Program to attend Eggs and Issues for free. SMCC students and staff, please stand and be recognized. Baker Newman Noyes sponsors our Community Corner program, which allows area nonprofits to promote their organizations at Eggs and Issues. Our Community Corner partner this month is the Boys and Girls Club of Southern Maine. The mission of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southern Maine is to inspire and enable all young people to realize their full potential as responsible, productive, and caring citizens. Their nationally recognized programs and activities impact youth in many essential ways, including academic success, healthy lifestyles, good character, and citizenship. Having just entered their second century of service to youth in Southern Maine, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southern Maine's area of service has grown well beyond their roots in downtown Portland to include South Portland, Auburn-Lewiston, Riverton Park, Sagamore Village, and communities surrounding these locations. At the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southern Maine, kids and teens walking through the doors find a welcoming, supportive place to spend their time after school and in the summer. It's a safe haven for many youth where they can find help with challenges in their lives and encouragement and opportunity towards bright futures. At the clubs, children and teens find supportive adults who enable them to develop skills and interests that last a lifetime. Youth find confidence and, most of all, hope as they aspire to reach their full potential as productive, responsible, and caring students and citizens. The legacy of the organization is made possible by the incredible combination of board, staff, volunteers, alumni members, and community supporters. With us today are Bob Clark, Chief Professional Officer, Karen McDonald, Chief Operating Officer, and Sharon Sedbay, President of the Board. Bob, Karen, and Sharon, would you please stand and be recognized? Now we want to take the time to recognize any new Chamber members who are with us this morning. I'm pleased to say that the Chamber membership is up over 1,400 at this point. We've been growing tremendously over the last year thanks to the hard work of our staff. New members, would you please stand and be recognized? We are also proud to welcome members of our Portland Veterans Network, our comprehensive free program for unemployed and student veterans, focusing on jobs, wellness, educational, and networking opportunities. We would like to extend a special thank you to Easter Seals of Maine, who has partnered with the Chamber to maintain and promote the Veterans Support Network. Now, following Lisa's remarks, we'll have a question and answer session. For this portion, please use the microphone closest to your table to pose your question. Please introduce yourself and tell us the name of your company or organization. And now on to our speaker. Lisa DeSisto is the Chief Executive Officer for MaineToday Media, which publishes the Portland Press Herald, Maine Sunday Telegram, Kennebec Journal, Morning Sentinel, and the Coastal Journal. And she's also a member of the board of the Portland Community Chamber of Commerce. Before joining MTM in November of 2012, she worked in a variety of positions at the Boston Globe. She served as Chief Advertising Officer for the Boston Globe and General Manager for Boston.com. Lisa spent most of her career at the Boston Globe as Vice President General Manager of Boston.com, directing the site's development into the most visited local media website in New England. She joined Boston.com as Marketing Manager just 2 days after the site's launch in 1995. Before joining the Globe, she held marketing positions at the Boston Phoenix, Boston Magazine, and WRKO Radio. In 2006, Lisa was named Online Innovator of the Year by the Newspaper Association of America. Boston Magazine named her one of the most powerful women in Boston. While in Boston, she served on the executive committee of the Ad Club of Boston and on the board of the Big Sister Association of Greater Boston. Lisa is a 1985 graduate of the University of Massachusetts at Amherst and lives in North Yarmouth with her husband Tim and their son Andrew. Please join me in welcoming Lisa DeSisto to Eggs and Issues.
Wow, that was the Wayback Machine in my bio. Thank you, Bill. Let me just get my exhaustive presentation out here. Okay. So thank you, Bill, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to speak this morning. You know, I wasn't nervous about my presentation today until everyone I ran into last week said, "You're speaking at Eggs and Issues. I saw you on TV. I heard it on the radio. I was at my son's parent-teacher conference, and his teacher said, 'Oh, you're speaking at Eggs and Issues.' I was out at our plant in South Portland, and one of the pressmen said to me, 'Oh, I see you're speaking at Eggs and Issues.' So, anyway, here I am, and I appreciate what an amazing platform this is to get all of the business leaders in Portland together in one room. It's kind of like the biggest sales call I've ever been on in my life. So, and then, of course, I have to follow last month's speaker, Greg Powell of the Alfond Foundation, who talked about how they award $500 to every baby born in Maine. So it's hard to follow the promise of every baby's future when one of our most popular features is obituaries. But there it is. There it is. So, hey, I'm glad I got a laugh, because sometimes obits aren't that funny, you know? So anyway, What we're going to talk about this morning is how can a newspaper survive in a digital era? And you know, we always talk about Maine as the oldest state in the country. Well, this is a time where it really works to our advantage. In the newspaper business, that's a good thing. As we know, newspaper readers tend to be a bit older. And I want to say to all of you out there that have said to me since I got to town, you sort of whisper to me and you say, you know, I still read it in print. Well, I know you still read it in print. In fact, tens of thousands of you read it every day, so thank you for that. And now, considering the age, the affluence, and dare I say, the attractiveness of this audience this morning, I'm sure many of you picked up the paper in your driveway on your way here this morning. Or if you're like Bill Becker, you access our content through an app on your mobile phone, and I'll talk in a minute about how that free ride is ending soon. So, sorry, Bill. So Time magazine listed Portland as one of the nation's coolest cities. We've all experienced the amazing food here. Our art museum is world class. Portland overachieves in so many areas for a city of our size. And there's another area where Portland is overachieving, and that's in our newspaper. In your newspaper, the Portland Press Herald and the Maine Sunday Telegram. To quote one of my favorite slogans, Portland, yes, journalism is good here. Our strategy is simple. We are investing in quality journalism, and we are one of just a handful of newspapers in this entire country that is investing and adding to their newsroom. In fact, just yesterday, we completely ran out of room in the newsroom. We cannot jam another journalist into that newsroom. Thank you, thank you. And that is a pretty unique and certainly awesome problem that we have to face. Some newspapers have adopted a model where they cut their way to profitability. But if there isn't news in the newspaper, then people are not going to pay you $18.98 a month, I think that includes tax, for a 7-day subscription. And under the ownership of Donald Sussman, we have been able to restore this newspaper and our sister newspapers, the Kennebec Journal and the Morning Sentinel, to products worthy of our amazing region. Thank you. We have invested more than $2 million in expanding our newsroom, and we've attracted reporters and editors from as far away as Bangor, also Arizona, New Jersey, Minnesota, Boston, Chicago, Alabama. Joining some of the Press Herald mainstays like Bill Nemitz, Dave Hench, Kelly Bouchard are many new faces that you can see up on the screen. And we're committed to expanding and improving our local business coverage. On Monday, Carol Coltis, the former editor of Maine Biz, joined us as the new business editor at the Press Herald. And Whit Richardson has joined business reporters Jessica Hall, Craig Anderson, Ed Murphy, Tom Bell, and Tux Turkle, who, let's face it, has the best newspaper name of all time on our business staff. You saw on the list of all the new chamber members, and I just think that's a wonderful sign of the growing economy here, and we intend to cover every bit of it. We also hired broadcast journalist Susan Kimball as our first video reporter, and she does online-only exclusive content for PressHerald.com. Is that the Martins lady? Oh my God, who put that in there? Okay, I'll keep going here. We'll see what other surprises they have put in, but. On a serious note, I want to acknowledge our executive editor, Cliff Scheckman, and our managing editor, Steve Greenlee, who have really led this effort to attract the best journalists to our newspaper, and we are producing journalism of the highest standards. And I know that Steve and Cliff are here somewhere, but there they are in your right? Right? Yeah, right in the right-hand corner of the screen. And Steve is much nicer than he looks in that picture. He kind of looks mean there, but he's not mean. We are also attracting top talent, not just in the newsroom, but on the business side. Barbara Bach is our new vice president of advertising. I had the pleasure of working with her at the Boston Globe, where she ran our national accounts business out of New York. And Stephanie Manning has joined us from Hearst Magazine, where she was the associate publisher of marketing for Oprah's magazine. That's right, Oprah. Stephanie has a picture of Oprah and Stephanie together in her office. It's worth it just to come in to see that. But I think it just shows the talent and the caliber of people that want to be in Maine, that want to be part of our organization. And they're just two of the outstanding members that I have on our leadership team. You know, I meant to mention this to Ken and Mike this morning, but without the Press Herald, I'm actually not sure what they would talk about all morning. If you listen really closely, sometimes you can actually hear them turning the pages of the newspaper as they talk about the news of the day. We have the biggest newsroom of any organization in northern New England, and we're really proud of that. From the pressmen to the sales reps, we all deeply believe in our mission to be the watchdog for our readers, for all of you. We hold government, business leaders, and institutions accountable. Here are just a few of the recent examples of how we look out for the people of Maine. Maine Care Rides. We chronicled how thousands of vulnerable Mainers were abandoned by two private contractors despite being paid millions of dollars by the state to bring them to their medical appointments. Today, the system is being revamped to better serve the most needy among us. Daycare inspections. We revealed how the state's child care inspection system allowed abuse of young children to go on for years. Today, bureaucrats have been reassigned and the system is being overhauled to better protect our children. The challenge of our age. Our year-long series on aging has helped focus the attention of the state's leadership on this critical problem impacting our future, everyone's future here in Maine. And because of our efforts, the public won two vital First Amendment cases. We fought to make 911 transcripts public, and we successfully challenged secret jury selection. In both cases, the state Supreme Court overturned lower court decisions to ensure the public is better informed. Now, while I hope many of you have noticed these changes, I can tell you the journalism industry is noticing it. Last year, the paper won a Polk Award for Colin Woodard's piece on virtual schools, and more recently, we won a Scripps Howard Award for the Aging series. These are significant awards. They're national awards and not based on circulation or market size. We competed against the big guys, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Boston Globe, the Guardian. And we're going to continue to add even more exclusive local content to our products. High school sports is one area where we have a long history. And when people ask, are newspapers still influential? Think about your refrigerator right now. Perhaps are there clippings from the newspapers of your sons, daughters, grandchildren, athletes at many of our local high schools whose pictures have appeared in the paper? I can't imagine anyone printing out a page from Facebook and actually posting it on their fridge. And continuing our relentless focus on relevance to Mainers, last Sunday, our readers of the Maine Sunday Telegram enjoyed a brand new section, Source, which is all about eating and living sustainably in Maine. And we conveniently left a copy for all of you on your chairs. In fact, you're probably sitting on it. So what's Source all about? Let's take a look. So we all know the local food movement is not a new trend in Maine. It's a way of life. And our cover story last Sunday told the history of the organic food movement in Maine that started in the 1950s with Helen and Scott Nearing. And each Sunday, we'll tell the stories of the farmers, the chefs, the bakers, the fishermen who make up this local food movement. And we're going to teach you how to do it yourself. We're going to teach you how to can, how to raise chickens, how to kill chickens, how to cook chickens, how to eat chickens. I think we're just going to do a whole section on chickens. Is this locally relevant, exclusive content? Yes, it is. Is it vital to what's happening in Maine? And certainly. Is it a strategy for attracting younger readers? This is a subject that lots of young families are focused on, so it certainly is. And it's also a marketing vehicle for brands who share the same ethos as Source. That's why Hannaford, Oakhurst, Pineland Farms, and Summit Natural Gas joined us as launch sponsors for Source. Now, a lot of people have inquired, is the newspaper audience shrinking? Actually, no. So while the number of print copies we distribute is certainly down from many years ago, when you think about our audience that accesses our website online, it's significantly larger. Every Sunday, more than 113,000 readers read the Maine Sunday Telegram. That's an average of 2 readers per copy. So if you have 3 people in your household that read it, you just brought the average up. And when you layer our online audience, in March, we logged over 829,000 visitors in Maine. Now realize if you access us on a work computer, a home computer, your mobile phone, and a tablet, you would be counted 4 times. So it's not a unique number, but it's a total number of people that accessed us across devices. And the other thing that's fascinating about our online traffic is so much of it is from out of state. So our out-of-state readership in a given month is 1.2 million visits. You can see that our journalism is incredibly influential and demanded across many devices. So all this investment in journalism sounds great, Lisa, but how are you going to make money off of it? Well, first we need to balance our revenue sources. Historically, the newspaper and many newspapers have been too reliant on print advertising. And our plan is to also grow our circulation revenue, both through rate and also through volume. Last year, we had a price increase on our home delivery and also our Sunday single copy. The Sunday paper was only $1.75, and the price hadn't been raised since about 1997. I bet there aren't many of you in the audience that still offer the same prices that you had in 1997. And our plan is to keep adding value to our print subscriptions. In February, we put our electronic edition behind a paywall, and we added more than 1,000 new subscribers as a result. Now, the electronic edition is an exact replica of how it appears in print, and I hope many of you use it. It's very, very popular. Next month, we are introducing redesigned websites, and we're building these sites using responsive design, which means the same code base is used across all platforms. So while the site will look great on a desktop, it will also look great on a tablet and a mobile device. Mobile now accounts for 20% of our total online traffic and is the fastest growing channel. So you won't need a standalone app to have a great mobile experience. The animation that you just watched shows how the site automatically adjusts to your screen size. I know it's super fancy, right? Now, in Central Maine, we're combining the resources of our 2 newspapers to launch one website, centralmaine.com. So readers of the Kennebec Journal and the Morning Sentinel will have access to one larger, deeper, and more frequently updated website. And then approximately 1 month after we launch our redesigned websites, we are going to institute a meter or a paywall. So once you get sort of addicted to and used to the new format, that's when we're going to ask you to pay. As you can imagine, it's expensive to produce quality journalism, and we can't continue to give it away for free. Online users are getting more accustomed to paying for content. From the iTunes store to putting books on your Kindle, people are purchasing music, movies, games, and books online. And if we continue to provide the local content that you can't get anywhere else, we're confident readers will see the value in paying. And we're constructing the meter so you can read 5 articles for free per month. Many people won't even hit the paywall, people who might come in from a link from Facebook or Twitter and may only access the site 1 or 2 times a month. So we only expect a modest decline in traffic. The people who will hit the paywall are the folks who use the site most often. They may use the site as a substitute for reading the paper in print. And the most frequent users should be the most willing to pay. Our pricing model is constructed to drive Sunday print subscriptions. Home delivery customers will get access, free unlimited access, across all digital platforms. So the digital-only pricing is $9.99 per month, but our Sunday home delivery with full digital access is just $8 per month. So it's cheaper to get Sunday in print plus full digital access than to go digital only. We're really focusing on our Sunday home delivery customers. You're our favorites. Now, just $8 a month, why, that's less than an order of those delicious mussels at 4th Street. It's less than a round trip toll from Wells to Augusta on the Maine Turnpike, and it's certainly less than a lobster roll. We think it's a pretty compelling value proposition. We're also putting more resources behind MaineToday.com, our arts and entertainment brand. It's where to go what to do, what to wear, and lots of party pictures. And people, they can't get enough of the party pictures, I'm telling you. And it's for residents and tourists alike. The site's going to be fully supported through online advertising, and we've already seen traffic start to grow on MaineToday.com as we've added more resources. We are also rebranding our Thursday entertainment product, which is now called Go to Maine Today, to make that connection between print and online. And finally, if you're using this mobile application, if this is the one you have on your phone, I'm just giving you a heads up that we are discontinuing this product once the paywall is live. Again, because our website will be mobile optimized, we won't have a standalone app. So, Bill, you're going to have to connect your Office copy to I can show you how to do that. It's going to be easy. We got to make it easy. We have to make it easy. I'd like to talk for a moment about our community relations efforts. You know, the Press Herald has had 4 different owners over the past 20 years. And there's one common philosophy that we share, and that's the importance of giving back to the community. We have partnered with the Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare Foundation to create a Maine Food Grants program where we will be awarding $100,000 to nonprofit and 501c3 organizations that support Maine farmers and fishermen. And there's conveniently information about that in source. We also have our beloved Press Herald Toy Fund in the spirit of Bruce Roberts that we look forward to getting behind every Christmas season. And Maddie Corzin introduced me to the Maine Association for Nonprofits. We recently became a benefactor, and now all members can enjoy a discounted rate for advertising in our products. And very soon, we will be jointly announcing a program, I guess I'm doing it right now, but jointly announcing a program where subscribers can award advertising credits to nonprofits in the food and sustainability sector as part of our source section. And we signed on to be a media partner for Startup and Create Week coming this June, and we are thrilled to support this grassroots effort that will put a spotlight on this important and growing sector of our local economy. Getting close to the end here, and I have to talk about print advertising, which will continue to be a large piece of our revenue. So does print advertising still work? Well, I say don't ask me. Why don't you ask Sam and Betty Novick from Hub Furniture, or David Banks of Remax by the Bay, or John Hatcher of Keller Williams, Ralph Pride of Cross Jewelers. They would not be in our paper day in and day out if they did not get results. These are smart, enduring businesses who obviously have a very savvy marketing strategy. I also wanted to acknowledge Jim Brady for developing our old headquarters into a boutique newspaper-themed hotel. No longer will people drive by and think another great American newspaper has gone under. I know when I came to interview for the job, I went there by mistake. So it's a little startling. But instead, people are going to drive by and see a thriving, hip hotel that celebrates the rich history of our newspaper. And speaking of history, in preparing for today's talk, I reached out to Jim Schaefer, the former CEO and president of the Guy Gannett Publishing Company, the original stewards of our newspapers. And he shared a speech that he delivered to the Chamber 21 years ago on May 5th, 1993. Who was here for that talk? Come on. I know Jim's here. He was here. There we go. We got a couple in the back row. All right. So this is what Jim said at the time. In a pre-internet era, he accurately predicted what would happen in the media industry, and I quote Jim, "The source of media power of the future won't be trucks or FCC licensed transmitters, but rather access to accurate and useful information." And that really sums up our strategy. Quality journalism, access to trusted, indispensable, accurate news and information across all platforms. And while print will continue to be the dominant delivery form, and in fact, we are very optimistic about our ability to grow Sunday print circulation, our strategy is to deliver content wherever the audience wants it, and to create a meaningful, measurable way for advertisers to put their messages in front of that audience. So on behalf of the 420 employees of MaineToday Media and the hundreds of independent carriers who get your newspaper to your doorstep, oftentimes before 5:30 in the morning, I'm asking you to do what Mainers inherently love to do, and that's to buy local. Support your local newspaper. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and I am ready for questions.
Good morning, Lisa. Hi, I'm Pete Ventry with Corporate Finance Associates. First off, it's wonderful to meet another University of Massachusetts grad in Maine. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, we should have a party or a tweet up or something.
Sure. So we are long-term, like since we moved to Maine over 25 years ago, daily readers of the paper. And in my house, especially for my wife, if she hasn't made it through the bridge, the Sudoku, the cryptogram? I don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
but
the cryptogram.
Cryptogram?
Yeah.
The day's not complete. But we have challenges domestically because I'm up first and my job is to get the paper and bring it in. Recently, and I mean in the last 5 years, our home delivery has not been consistent. Some days we just don't get a paper. Other days it comes at 4, other days at 10. And the one challenge we have is the circulation desk number. It should be on the front page of your website. You can't find it unless you have a paper.
Sure.
So the challenge is if you don't have yesterday's paper, and this is where it comes into a problem. The paper's not there. I'm up first. I try to call. I can't find the paper. It's already gone with the trash. Can you help us with home delivery and just enhancing the adequacy of that? Thank you.
Have you met Mike Avancic? Because he's in charge of circulation operations.
Michael, come see me. I got lots to talk to you about.
You know, it's a great point, and I'm not going to make excuses for it, but I will tell you those independent carriers have a tough job, certainly with the winter that we had. But it's not always the weather, I know, when you don't get your paper. And I hear you. We need to do a better job with reliable home delivery because people are waiting for the newspaper. So I appreciate your comments, and Mike is working. Mike, you got that one? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
My name is Michael Foley, and I'm from the city of Westbrook. And I would have to agree the paper does a good job at covering controversial issues and holding government and business accountable. But I tend to find that the paper does not cover a lot of positive stories. And there's many positive stories that happen in my community in Westbrook and happen in other communities across the state. And I was wondering if the paper might take more of an effort to cover positive stories. And for example, a recent story that was on the front page was myself and a number of folks were traveling to Russia, which was a very controversial issue. Yesterday we held a press conference to talk about the amazing experience that we had in that country, and no one from the Press Herald came to cover that experience. And it frustrates me as a local leader who sometimes has a lot of difficult issues to deal with, but the positive issues don't seem to be covered as much by the paper, which a lot of people rely upon to get their information from.
So thank you for that question. It's a good one. So a couple of points on that. First of all, we've had a lot of changes at the newspaper and the newsroom, and I think the community doesn't necessarily know how to get into the newsroom, who to contact about a story. Like, for example, I don't even know where your press release went. One of the things that I wanted to do as a follow-up today, and please feel free to email me directly. My email is lisa@mainetoday.com, and I can push out you what we call the user's guide to the newsroom. So when you do have a story, you have a phone number, you have an email address of who to call in the newsroom to make sure that we do that. One of the things that I think you're going to find in Source is a lot of positive coverage of what's happening in that community. I think our high school sports coverage, is also positive as well. But I also want to say it's your newspaper, so we invite all sorts of contributions, especially on our editorial pages. Our letters to the editor, you can submit letters anytime. You could submit a column for Maine Voices. There are definitely ways for you to get involved and to get your message heard. But I'm glad you brought that up, and a lot of people from the newsroom are here to hear that as well. So thank you. Nothing else, really? Oh, one more. Hello.
Good morning. Father William Campbell. I'm president of Cheverus High School. Proud reader of your newspaper. In fact,
Thank you.
We get 2 copies at our house each morning.
Oh, good.
We have a number of students who are here with us today from various high schools. What advice can you give to them about entering the media for a career?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing, I've hired many people through the years, is to really nail the fundamentals. It's sort of amazing how you can find typos and grammatical errors on people's cover letters and resumes. So make sure you have a great command of English. Also, your verbal presentation skills, your ability to communicate with people is certainly critical. And then you have an advantage because media is moving digitally. So for kids in high school now, they're digital natives. They just grew up with it. But also understanding, the new journalist also understands how to use data to tell a story. They probably know, many different programming languages. So the more versatility you can pick up at high school and college is going to be a benefit to you. And also get out there and do. So many kids today are involved in community service, community efforts, going on missions. I just think that's a wonderful thing that people look for when you're trying to hire a well-rounded individual. So I think we have one more.
Hi, my name is Steve Bromwich. I'm from Maine Historical Society. And just to follow up on the delivery issue, actually in our neighborhood it's like clockwork, and my alarm clock is the transmission of the newspaper guy driving up the street. Anyway, I have a question wondering if you could talk a little bit more about with your new paywall model. So much of advertising is about eyeballs, and creating revenue by subscription fees and services that are revenue for the paper versus, and how you think that'll affect the number of eyeballs that advertisers get, and what the overall calculus is there.
Sure. Our website does about I think it's around 10 million page views a month. If you're on our website frequently, you can see that the inventory is not all sold out. When we don't sell things locally, we backfill it with network advertising. So we can decline in our number of page views and still be able to fulfill our online advertising commitments. And the way we've constructed the meter, and believe me, this is not a high security meter, and God bless anyone that wants to figure out a way to work around it. But we're watching the meter. So if our traffic really drops, we can change the number of articles from 5 to 10 per month. So we want to be able to really have our cake and eat it too, is to have a premium web experience and also continue to sell online advertising. So it's a balancing act, and we're constructing it so that we do have the capability to really change it on a dime. The other thing that should there be a big breaking story, God forbid, we will completely drop the paywall out of the public's interest to make sure that they have unlimited access to the content that we're posting.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Laura, and I'm a student at SMCC, and I am also the art director for our student newspaper. And I heard your answer about journalism, and I was wondering if you have any internship opportunities as far as the design.
Yes, we do have internship opportunities, and send me an email, again, lisa@mainetoday.com, and we'll see what we can do. Most frequently, our internships are in the newsroom with reporters and people with journalism degrees, but we are working towards a journalism degree, but we've also brought people in the marketing department and the sales department, and we love people, students in Maine, and we want to find a way to keep young talent here, so I think we need to do more of them. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Peter Mills from the Turnpike Authority.
Oh, hi.
And you are cheaper than a round trip.
Yes, we are.
But you used to be a lot. 62 years ago when I started delivering it, it was 30 cents a week. And I had my troubles getting around sometimes in the morning. My question has to do with, I've noticed that some of the major papers in the state have engaged in content sharing. I don't know what else to call it, but you have reporters who are sort of focused in on certain stories. Maybe the Bangor Daily is running something, or the Lewiston Sun, and they are sharing, giving credit, of course, but
Yeah.
those stories are being circulated in competing papers. I was wondering if you have those arrangements, and if so, could you describe them?
We do not have those arrangements, and we really feel our content is proprietary and part of the value proposition of why people subscribe. And certainly, when we put a paywall on our website, we don't want people to be able to access our content through other channels. So I know it's something that they do in the other markets, and it's just not the right thing for us. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for joining us today. I'm going to miss that app. I'm going to need you to personally walk me through that conversion. Congratulations on Source. Congratulations on all the great partnerships that you're involved with in the community. And great to hear that Maine Today is still an important part of our world, online and in print. So thanks for being here. As a thank you for speaking today, we will be making a donation in your honor to the Boys and Girls Club of Southern Maine. Some final announcements as we wrap up. The Greater Portland Business Expo is coming on May 1st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and will showcase the wonderful businesses and organizations that are changing the face of the Portland region. There will also be food samplings and seminars throughout the day. A keynote luncheon at noon will feature State Senate President Justin Alfond and Senator Andre Cushing, who will give an overview of this year's legislative session, which I hope is coming to an end soon. Exhibitor space is selling out quickly. Last year's event was a sellout, and we expect this year to be the same. Visit the Chamber's website or speak with Nancy Troutier for more information or to sign up, and Nancy's right back there in the pink jacket. You can stay up to date on everything related to the Chamber by connecting via Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Stay tuned to the Chamber's new website for video of this morning's Eggs and Issues, and as always, the photos taken here this morning will be available for viewing on Facebook and the Chamber's website. Thanks for joining us this morning. Happy spring. We welcome you back on May 8th when Governor Paul LePage will be our speaker. Have a great day.